Welcome back. It is Bust Picks, episode 39. I'm your host, Dio Reynoso. This is my co-host.
Don, how we doing?
Not even co-host feels like it's lesser. You're the same. We're the same.
That is what co means.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
What would be lesser?
Like my contributor.
Like producer. Like I feel like every podcast
Personality
that has like a co-host is like
color commentator.
Like, yeah. If we were a color commentator, you're definitely Al Michaels. You definitely got like the sturdy facts. You got the fun, whimsical in you when you need to, but you're really like about business.
Yeah.
Me, I'm Tony Romo. I'm flying around. People are really annoyed about me. People are kind of sick of me at this point.
See, I prefer listening to Romo games than anybody.
And
right?
you know what? That's why you're Al Michaels.
Yeah, I've walked into that one.
Before we get into everything we're gonna get into, I have to get on a soapbox for about 30 seconds.
Okay.
And I wanted to talk it out with you, and I feel like this is the best platform for us to have this conversation.
Worrisome.
I want to be really careful with what I say here. I'm not bored of the new college football video game.
Gosh.
But I need you to pick a team for me, and I want you to find a team that hits these three categories. You have one week to figure it out, and then next week you let me know what team I get to start and rebuild it. One, couldn't have been better than couldn't have been really good in the past 2 years.
Sure.
Really good to me is anything over 9 wins.
Okay, makes
the past
sense.
2
That
years
feels
they
good.
have to be under 9 wins.
9 wins at a Power 5.
Correct. I also want a Power 5 team.
Got it.
And I also want a team with Nike uniforms. Don't want Under Armour, and I don't want Jordan. I'll make an exception for Jordan, but I don't like the Under Armour uniforms at all.
Okay.
Those are your 3 categories. Write them down, figure them out, come back to me next week.
That's a deep one.
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into Fact of the Day.
Fact of the day. So this year, 2024, actually marks the first year since 2001, so 23 years, where Michael Phelps no longer holds an individual world record.
What do you mean?
Every single one of his individual world records has been broken now.
So they've gotten that fast, that quickly?
Yeah, so Phelps broke his first record in 2001, the World Championships.
It was 2001?
2001, where he broke the 200-meter butterfly in 1 minute, 54 seconds of 1 minute, 54.58 seconds.
Has it been almost 10 years since Michael Phelps has competed in the Olympics?
No, he was 15 years old when he did it in 2001.
No, but I mean, when did he stop competing? It wasn't Japan,
It was Beijing, 2008.
No, he stopped competing. London?
London?
He
Feels
did
like
4 Olympics, so that's 2017, 2016? It's been 8 years since he's competed.
It's been 8 years, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's been a minute. It was broken last year. His last one was broken by Frenchman Leon Marchand for the 400-meter individual medley with 4 minutes and 3.84 seconds, being coached by Phelps's old coach, Bob Bowman.
All right. So it sounds like Michael Phelps was a system player.
I mean, if you're that good of a coach, you could kind of develop any high-end talent, I think. But the reason the story's coming up again is Leon Marchand just broke Phelps's not only broke Phelps's last individual world record, but on the 28th of this month, 2 days ago from recording, broke Phelps's last remaining Olympic record as well.
So what you're telling me is Michael Phelps wouldn't even survive in today's game.
I think the training has gotten to a point, and they have adjusted the materials of swimsuits and stuff to add extra speed.
Is this the quickest Michael Phelps wouldn't like? Is this the quickest this elite athlete wouldn't survive in this era conversation we've ever had?
No. I mean, I think ever had, yeah, because he still owns 2 team records.
Yeah,
the 2008 400-meter freestyle, and then the 2009 800-meter freestyle. He was part of both those teams.
I think still the most gold medals for any individual athlete.
28 gold. I think he has 31 overall, or no, 26 gold, 28 overall.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he still owns the most amount than anybody. Second place is 18.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, like he's still going to be like noted for that, but like in like 30 years, we can be looking back at Michael Phelps and be like, yeah, he was good for the time, but like he wouldn't survive in today's game. Like I don't want that to happen because that's my guy, but I'm pretty sure that's how 60-year-olds feel right now about like Michael Jordan or like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I don't know because like, it is more technology based. Like they have But the Olympic Committee is very specific on what you're allowed to do.
You can tell me it's technology based. It's still swimming.
No, it's still swimming.
It's not faster water.
Well, they found that if they did, there's a certain swim trunk that a lot of the Olympians were wearing.
Can I call timeout?
Yeah.
Don used to be a swimmer. So
In case that's not obvious.
Don's about to geek out.
So they developed this swimwear called, it was shark skin. And it mimicked almost the exact skin of actual sharks. And they found that
That's
swimmers...
cheating.
Yeah,
That's almost as much cheating as the Canadian soccer team. Continue.
But they found that swimmers were actually gaining like 2 or 3 seconds just by switching swim trunks. And the Olympic Committee immediately went, no, this isn't fair. Like, we can't do this.
Is this like when track and field started and then people were like, we can't have them use those special shoes because it gives them a huge advantage?
Yeah, basically. It's
I
one
don't
of
like
those, because not every country had availability to it. That's what I think is the issue there.
Not a fan. Good fact of the day, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a lot more swimming ones just in case.
Oh, did you?
Like Ryan Lochte got a specific technique banned for the freestyle swimming.
Was it make up lies in the jungle?
No, almost. No, it was he would dolphin kick on his back, and then right before he broke the surface of the water would flip over and then it's freestyle properly because his back kick was so much stronger than his front kick. He would actually gain time doing it.
See, I don't like that.
Incorrectly.
I don't like that.
Well, you don't like that it's banned, or you don't like that
I don't
he
like
did
that
it?
it's banned. If they can find out, like if they're actually making strategical advancements to swim faster, then they should. Like, if one guy's like, hey, I tried doing this thing, I have an oar now and a boat, and I can outswim all of you, I'd be like, well, he figured it out.
No, it was an interesting one to me because it's like, it's not technically breaking the rules in any capacity, but it was just the Olympic Committee didn't like it because it looked too close to a backstroke, even though he never broke the water on his back.
Yeah,
That's
but I can see
one.
where like they open that can of worms, and then other people take that idea and then build off of it, and then it gets a little.
But I mean, that's how sports develop.
Yeah, I know, but swimming is a sport that I'm okay dying.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. I can't argue with any of that opinion.
Let's get into the AFC East division breakdown right now. Next week we'll do the NFC East, but this week AFC East. This division, I had a lot of difficulties figuring out. I was going through the schedules, going through rosters, trying to figure out where I felt like these teams were going and what direction they were going.
Sure.
Have a couple surprises here, but I think we're going to have a similar lineup.
I think one team is going to be a big differential for us.
I think we both know that team. Let's start at the beginning.
Sure.
The number one team to win this division. All right, let's start at the bottom.
Okay, fourth.
The worst team in this division this year for me is going to be the New England Patriots.
Agreed.
I have them going 4-13.
I've them at 3 wins.
Yeah, so we're there.
Yeah, we're both under the Vegas line right now.
Drake May is apparently doing terribly in camp. They're saying that he is not processing the offense well. He's taking too long on certain plays. He's running when he shouldn't be running. And Jacoby Brissett seems like he's going to be the starter for a significant portion of the year. They do have a couple weapons that have shown me that they have.
They have 3 guys. They have 3 offensive weapons.
I disagree. I think Hunter Henry is going to be okay. I think Ramondre Stevenson is going to be really good. I think they have a plethora of receivers that are like, hey, we're number 2s.
I think Kendrick Bourne is good.
I think they have 4 number 2s on that team.
I mean, other than Kendrick Bourne, Juju Smith-Schuster?
Juju Smith's not on the team. They have a bunch of rookies on the team.
He's still technically signed.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's current depth charts haven't been updated.
Yeah. No
one's really doing that. He's still listed, I think, as the number 2.
Yeah. Gerard Mayo, this is like the first like new world of I'm spacing on the New England Patriots and the receivers. I think one was Baker from UCF.
Yeah.
There's a couple of receivers.
They got a lot of late round guys though. Like second round was their first receiver taken.
That's fine. You find golden
Yes.
receivers in second round. I really liked what they did with their skill players in the draft this year. I think it's something to build on. I don't think they have anything elite there. I think their defense has holes that people really don't want to look at, but they did pay Kyle Duggar on the safety side, who's one of the most slept-on defensive players in the league.
I think their secondary is borderline elite.
I think
now.
their secondary is really.
Yeah.
I think their defense might be really good this year.
Yes, like there's a few issues here and there, but overall there's just too much talent. You have Christian coming back. Christian Gonzalez. You have Jabril Peppers, another amazing safety.
Who's like. Jabril Peppers was elite in college, and then he's just had like a steady, good career in the pros.
Yeah.
And like in New England's really cool because they'll just find athletes and figure out how to fit them and make them productive. And I think Gerard Mayo is going to be really good. And I think this New England Patriots defense, at the end of the year, we're going to be looking back and be like, that's the New England Patriots defense I remember.
Shout out Matthew Judon.
Yeah.
But I think the offense
comes back healthy.
He's looking on track right now.
Yeah,
he's looking
just
good.
like in terms of Leo.
But no, I don't think the offense will score any points. That's my worry. Jacoby Brissett is one of the higher end backup quarterbacks in the league.
I had him as my number 2 backup when we did our backups last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I just don't think that with the weapons available to him, this team is going to struggle.
Yeah, I think that they're going to be in a tough spot. I think most people do. But that's okay. They're in a rebuild. They're clearly focusing on something else right now. Let them rebuild. They got a few years, and it's okay. New England just went on a 20-year dominant streak. They can have a few bad years.
Yeah, give them 4 years, and I think they'll be middle to playoff berth again.
4 years, I don't know. In the NFL, you could turn it around in 2. My number 3 team. What's your number 3 team?
My number 3 is the Jets.
Okay, my number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. My number 2 is the Jets.
Okay, I have Jets at 7-10.
Okay, I'm going to talk about only the positives for the Jets. You're going to talk about the negatives?
I mean, there's not too many negatives. It's more.
So why do you have them at 7-10?
I don't trust Aaron Rodgers as a quarterback.
Okay.
40 years old.
Wild statement. Not 40. 38.
Coming up on 40. Coming off an Achilles injury. Mm-hmm. He spent last season. He spent all year going, "I'm healthy," and then never actually being able to do anything. He never took the field. Never.
In a recent interview, he came out and said if they were in playoff contention, he would have came back.
They were. They were in 7. They finished the season 7-10. They needed 2 wins to make playoffs.
Kind of the Colts and the Texans
the Steelers
got that last. Yeah, but it not with playoff breaks, and he could only play the last 2 games anyway. You're right. Maybe
he was talking that he was going to come back for the last 5.
Yeah, but he didn't end up.
If he came back for the last 5, they won 3 of those. They were in playoffs.
Let's be honest. It was an Achilles tear. There was no world where he
there was no world,
back.
But that's what I mean. He's too much.
But that's a personal thing. That's not him. His actual athletic.
No, but that's who he is in the locker room, and that's where I'm like, this is not going to be pretty.
Maybe if they're fine.
To me, if he struggles the slightest bit, that entire locker room implodes very quickly.
The locker room's already in a tough spot.
Yeah.
I think Saleh has proven, yes, he's a good schematic coach, but I don't know if he can hold together a team that has so much pressure on it, like the New York Jets.
Yes.
Because
there's
expectations for the New York Jets with you right now.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's expectations, and that's always a tough thing for a team that has not been able to meet any of them recently.
Their expectations have been play good defense, and they've clearly shown they can do that. They just need competent quarterback play for them to win games. And I believe that Aaron Rodgers has the ability to still be a top 17 quarterback, and that's all the Jets need to make the playoffs and have a winning record.
The only upside I will give them right now is they did sign Tyrod Taylor to be the backup. Very high-end backup, high upside backup.
He's older. I don't think he's as high upside as people really.
No, but he's going to be competent.
Yeah,
he'll be fine.
Aaron Rodgers is
better than Zach Wilson.
Way better and way more competent than him.
I don't know if he does.
Don, the last time we saw Aaron Rodgers beside that game, he won MVP. He was very, very good.
But it's more there's very limited weapons on the offense.
Is there? They have clearly made pushes to make the offense maybe not as elite as other teams, but there is no shortage of weapons on the team.
No, they have 2 very high-end upside guys.
They have 2 high-end elite guys on there.
Brees is great.
Brees and
Wilson's solid.
And then they have a bunch of key role guys who maybe don't break the bank, but like I said, the Jets don't need that right now. I understand that their expectations are Super Bowl. I'm not there for them.
No, I'm not there.
I have them at 10-7.
But that's the pressure the team is under right now, is Super Bowl.
But
you went and got Rodgers, you paid him all that money for a reason. Mm-hmm. If this team is not living up to expectations, I think the pressure is going to be too much.
So win line at 8.5, you would bet the under right now.
I'd bet the under right now.
I would love to see you bet I think they are 8.5 is the perfect number. I think 8 is probably the worst they get to, but I have them at 10-7. I think they have some favorable matchups, and if injuries don't hurt them, I think they'll be fine.
Sure.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be like, I'm a top 10 quarterback at the end of the season.
No, probably not.
But I think there's still potential for him to be that. I've seen Tom Brady and I've seen Drew Brees get into their older age and show that they can do it. Phillip Rivers was playing at 39. He was still elite. Got the Colts to the playoffs. He was still a very good quarterback. I think Aaron Rodgers still has that in him. I'm not saying he's an MVP candidate. I think that time of him has passed. But if you're telling me, would you rather have Derek Carr or an Aaron Rodgers quarterbacking the Jets? I'm taking Aaron Rodgers 10 times out of 10.
I like Carr a little bit more.
That is insane.
I like Carr.
That is absolutely asinine.
No, it's because I don't know if Rodgers is going to be able to get hit.
I think this is a personal thing.
No, I don't think Rodgers is going to be able to get hit. He's coming off he's an older quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. Rodgers, what made him borderline elite when he was playing?
Mobility.
Was his mobility. That's gone.
He's
is
running
not.
around a camp. He's moving in camp.
He's moving, but it doesn't look like
he looks like Aaron Rodgers to me. Like, I've been watching Jets camp because I like the Jets. I like Breece Hall. I like Zach Wilson. I don't like Aaron Rodgers personally.
No.
At all. But like, not at all. There's some moments where I'm like, all right, he's clearly like just messing with people sometimes, and sometimes he's an actual crazy person. But like, put that all to the side. I still think he's a top 5 best quarterback I've ever seen with my eyes. And until he has shown me he's not that guy anymore, which he hasn't shown anyone yet, he's still that guy to me.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
That's fair. I'm betting this is the downfall season. That's what I'm betting.
That's a fair bet.
Yeah.
That's also a fair bet. Buffalo Bills, I have them finishing 9-8 behind the Jets, finishing 3rd in their division. And you have them finishing 2nd at
I have them at 10-7, so right around there.
So
right,
we have
real close.
We just flip-flopped. I have Jets 10-7. Buffalo Bills, we'll start with the positives. What
Sure.
do you like going into the Buffalo Bills?
I think they have the best tight end duo in the league right now. Like, Kincaid and Knox are amazing. I think they're going to be the consistent drumbeat for this team. Josh Allen's best reliable guys. They show that they were able to get a lot done without Stephon Diggs and basically without any receiver last season, going 5-0 down the stretch. You get
receivers not my issue with this team.
Receivers not my issue, but you get Matt Milano back, and I think that's a huge upside for the defense there. They have a couple holes, but what hit them hard last season was more injury than anything else. That's what shook them up. I think if they're able to stay healthy, this defense is back to a top 10 in the league.
Last year, I took my shot on the Bengals to have injuries and the woes and coaching and just it fall apart because after a while, it's hard to keep up with the elite Joneses in the AFC, especially when you're continuously not getting to the Super Bowls. It's just hard for teams to continuously just stay in the playoffs. Mathematically, teams fall out. Yeah. And I think the Bills are one of those teams that are going to fall out of the playoffs this year, and I'm taking my shot on them. I've kind of teased it a few times. I think Josh Allen still is an elite quarterback. I think he will be for the next few years. I'm not scared of his receivers.
Well, they have MVS, Curtis Samuel as new veterans.
Correct.
But they got younger. I mean, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir.
Shakir, I think
he showed flashes last season.
Fine number 3, maybe a number 2 at times. And then Keon Coleman, I didn't like him coming out of the draft. I love his personality, and I really do hope he can be a number 1. But as of right now, I don't love the player that I see all the time on the field. I think he can be an absolute monster, though, and I can eat those words, and if the targets are there, you're absolutely right. They have the best tight end duo in the entire league. But that defense is old.
They are getting older.
Has been getting hurt. That defensive line is now relying on a 38-year-old Von Miller to be their elite pass rusher.
Him and Ed Oliver, they're holding it up.
That might be one of the worst defenses.
No, I'll say Russo's pretty young.
Gregory Russo's pretty good, and he's pretty young. He's okay. And then, Milano is coming back. But, that secondary with Tre'Davious White.
I think Tre'Davious White's gone, if I remember correctly. I think he's on the Chargers.
Okay, so that's even worse. They're just losing guys.
Well, White was gone.
Still there.
Yeah, White was gone all last season, though, with injury. So
he was in and out.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've had a couple guys, just Tremaine Johnson, and then they had another guy that they traded for, Rasul Douglas. Who never really became elite like he was on the Packers.
No, he was projected to be one of the a shutdown guy and just never.
Well, that's what he was in Green Bay for a year.
Yeah.
I don't love what the Buffalo Bills are going to be doing this year. I don't love the receivers. It's not that it's I'm not. It's enough weapons for an elite quarterback.
Yes.
And that's the way. Like if Patrick Mahomes had this receiving core, we wouldn't be saying the same things. I'm a little worried about this offensive line. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that James Cook is a bang him out running back like Buffalo probably needs in that cold and what could complement Josh Allen. I don't really like it, and I think there's going to be a couple injuries that we don't want to see. Josh Allen has been very, very, very healthy his whole career.
Yeah.
I don't.
You're betting on. You're betting on it. You're betting on.
There's always
because he is very reckless.
There's
with
always
his body.
1 year, and he's 28.
Yeah,
and he's a big guy. I don't want to say he gets injured, but would it surprise you if he was like out for 5 games?
It would. The way he runs the ball, the way how aggressive he is,
especially with
it takes one shot, and
it's
a hold my breath every time I see him take off.
This is clearly a lack of talent that he's had in the past few years. So it's almost like he's going to have to burden himself even more. Remember, he's lost coordinators. McDermott is kind of on a bit of a hot seat himself.
He is on the hot seat, especially with his comments last season. He is on a full hot seat.
So I can kind of see what you were saying about the Jets and the pressure that they're feeling. The Bills are feeling just as much pressure, if not more pressure than the Jets. But I think, like getting past the AFC.
Yeah, I think the big split is the Bills have had this pressure for a long period of time.
Yes,
and I think it's not getting to most of the veterans.
Correct. Once again, this is a team that I'm not rooting against. I genuinely love the Bills, as the rest of the world does.
Love Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's great. He's a California guy. I'm going to root for my California guys forever. But as of right now, I don't love the Buffalo Bills going into the season.
Sure.
Our number 1 teams are the same in the AFC East. It seems like it's the Miami Dolphins.
Yep.
I have them at 11-6.
Perfect.
Cool. They barely
same record as last season in my mind.
They're very, very good offensively, and they might be sneaky great defensively.
I like the 2 big changes that they made, going and getting Odell and Jonnu Smith, replacing Durham Smythe and Cedric Wilson at those positions. I think those are big upgrade. Like
I'm not. I think
I don't think Odell. I don't think Odell is.
I think he's a lateral move.
Well, okay. So here's my thing. Cedric Wilson last season,
fast.
15 games he played out of this. 15 games, right? Mm-hmm. 296 yards total.
They never used their third option.
They never used their third option.
We talked about this, remember?
Yeah.
We were like talking about Braxton Berrios as like the third receiver on the team, and he like had like 180 yards in week 15. It was crazy.
Durham Smythe was third on the team in receiving yards with 366.
Insane.
So there's 700 yards of receiving yards around there, like potentially up for grabs.
Yeah.
Jonnu's shown that he is able to be that guy. Even last season, he was that guy for the Falcons. He can go and get 60 a game. I think he's going to be great.
It's just, will they incorporate a tight end in this offense?
I hope they do, because if they've made a arguable upgrade, because I think they're going out and signing Odell tells me we're going to take a little bit off Tyreek, we're going to take a little bit off Waddle, distribute the ball a bit more. That's what these signings are telling me.
I think Odell's more of like, all right, well, when those 2 are covered, we can throw it to this guy who's a little bit more flashier of the 3.
Yeah.
But he's still over under Odell Beckham 550 yards.
I would say under, but that's where I want him. I want him at 450. 450 is an extra 100 yards what they had last season.
Yeah.
And a guy that down the stretch when it gets to the cold weather is used to playing in that kind of environment and is able to be a little bit more aggressive.
I just feel like for the price, you can go get another receiver that can get you 450.
I think it's the veteran talent, but they didn't pay him that much.
I mean, they had to pay him something. They had to pay him something for him to go to Miami, right? Google that while I talk about the Miami Dolphins defense. Jalen Ramsey's still a very good corner. Is he the cream of the crop as he used to be? Probably not, but he's still a top 10 corner in this league.
$3 million. 1 year. 1 year, $3 million.
That's actually a great deal.
Yeah. Yeah, 1.8 signing bonus.
They did lose Christian Wilkins, who's like one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league.
Yes, they did. So it leaves it up to Jaden Phillips and Bradley Chubb, and they're returning from their injuries.
Yeah, and I like Jaden Phillips a lot.
No, I like both of them. They're
Bradley
great.
Chubb just never became the pass rusher I think everybody wanted him to be.
Everyone expected him to be the next Von Miller, and he just not.
Wasn't.
He's not Von Miller. That's fine.
I wanted him to be like 9 sack a year type of guy, and I guess he's that.
Yeah, he's around there.
Yeah, he's around there.
It's just he doesn't do it in a solo way.
They're just not loud.
They're not loud,
Yeah.
and because he'll get like out of 9, 4 of them will just be like half an assist, half.
Yeah.
Like he gets to the quarterback,
Yeah.
he creates the disruption, but he always gets there at the same time as somebody else.
I guess I always wanted him to be more, not elite, but like that second echelon or third echelon of pass rushers where you're like, yeah, he's solid.
The guy who gets the sack in the clutch moment.
Yeah.
Versus pushing the QB into somebody else then.
Any other things about, I feel like we should talk about Tua.
Well, we're going to talk about Tua's contract in a bit, but I think he's going to run it back as receiving yards or passing yards leader again. Like this offense is just too explosive. They've again, to me, upgraded at certain positions.
I disagree. I think there's someone else that we're forgetting that might do some electric things.
Oh, without it, but I think he's going to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
like he's just they're going to go for over 4,500.
How many more years do you think Tyreek Hill has of being the best receiver in the league or the most dynamic offensive weapon in the league?
See, that's tough to me because he is not in Miami for too much longer on his contract.
Two more years.
2 more years.
Yeah. And he says he wants to retire in Miami.
Yeah, he wants to retire in Miami. If he leaves Miami, I think you will see the fall off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think a huge amount, like the talent is there. The talent, yeah. I'm not disrespecting the talent. The talent is there. They schemed this entire offense for him.
Oh, him and Waddle are like, that's their offense.
That's their offense. Yeah. But I don't even think they scheme for Waddle that much. It's more,
there's
here's a great compliment for Tyreek Hill, but it could be any fast wide receiver 2 caliber guy, and they'll be fine with it. They play
Madden offense. That's
awesome. All they do.
I love it.
So I think he'll drop down production wise and everything if he ever leaves, and that will be that fall off. But as long as he's in Miami and Daniels is there, that he'll be top tier every time.
So just to recap, I have the Miami Dolphins in the AFC East to finish first.
Yep.
The New York Giants finished second. The Buffalo Bills finished third, and the New England Patriots fourth. Dom, what are your predictions?
Miami first overall. I have Buffalo going second. Then the Jets 3, Patriots 4 overall.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's move on to bust of the week. Don, who's your bust of the week?
Miami Marlins. Honestly, with the baseball trade deadline happening right now, they'll already happen.
Shout out to the Dodgers. You're the best team in all of baseball.
Yeah, a lot of big moves.
Yeah,
a lot of big moves this time around. I love seeing it. But a team that made playoffs last season, and they went through the same fire sale that they did when they won a World Series a few years back. They sold off everything they could. They only have one player making more than $1 million a year. 23 active players on the roster. One guy's making more than $1 million on their active roster right now. Jesus Sanchez is making $2.1 million. Their active payroll is down to $13.8 million right now.
What are they doing?
They're selling everybody off. They have
a full rebuild.
This is what Miami likes to do, and they're doing what basically the Athletics are doing, and the Rockies, or not the Rockies, Brewers. Of let's just see if we could get great talent out of our farm system and never pay anybody anything. And the minute somebody's worth something, sell them off immediately.
I kind of love that.
Like they are operating on one of the lowest payrolls in the league right now.
They're just like glorified farm systems for the big boys.
That's what it feels like a little bit.
And as a big boy, I love it.
And then the one weird thing, according to Sport Track, who does a lot of this tracking of MLB contracts, all of their players, as far as I can tell, on their active roster are on options this year.
Oh, so they could literally bring back nobody.
Yeah, they could next season go, oh, we are doing nothing but developmental guys, and we'll have no payroll.
I love that. I love everything about that. Just to like look your team in the face and be like, I dare you to buy a jersey. I dare you to root for a player that we know will not be here.
That's I hate that as an organization, especially you made playoffs last season.
Yeah.
You made big moves trying to constantly bring in big names into your managerial offices, into Jeter was like over there for a bit just trying to bring anybody that they can to bring interest into the team, and then you don't invest anything in the team.
It is crazy. I always forget that like Derek Jeter is a partial owner of the Marlins.
He was for a while, yeah. Like I think he's sold out now. I think he's sold off now.
Probably for the best. The Miami teams are weird because like they clearly want to be good, but like their fan bases don't put the pressure on them to be good. Like Miami's not a huge sports town.
Not as big as others. Not as big as others. Like the Heat, they put the pressure on the Heat. I feel with Pat Riley. Pat Riley's still
Jimmy
running
Butler
things.
always talks about how
buckets.
he hates how fans will just wander into the stadium in the third quarter.
Yeah,
They're fair weather because there's so much to do in Miami.
yeah. No, that is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
It's crazy. My bust of the week, kind of weirdly similar. I also picked like a GM organization situation.
Sure.
But mine's a little bit different. I picked John Elway. And the reason I picked John
Was this him talking about the noise in the stadium?
No.
Okay.
So John Elway was on Pardon My Take this week. Pretty big podcast. Had an interview, and he talked about a couple things. He did talk about the stadium noise and how
The old school rules.
a season you were allowed to tell the refs, like, hey, tell the stadium to be quiet. No one ever followed that rule because it was a dumb rule. And
That's
then
the
they abolished
stupidest thing in the world.
He talked about a couple things. He talked about betraying the Indianapolis Colts and the sanctity of football itself by demanding that he would rather go play for the Yankees than be an Indianapolis Colt at the time, or transitioning into the Indianapolis Colts. Whatever, scumbag move. I've forgiven him for that.
It's always interesting when players try to pull that.
He talks about stealing Peyton Manning from the Indianapolis Colts after we cut him. Another scumbag move. Whatever. Forgive him. Whatever. That's fine.
I don't know if I don't think he stole them. I don't think he stole Peyton because the Colts cut him clearly. He didn't steal. Like no. That one I'll contest.
Here's the one I don't want you to contest.
Okay.
John Elway said his biggest mistake as a GM and his biggest regret will always be not drafting Josh Allen. This is the same man who drafted Paxton Lynch.
And Brock Osweiler.
This is the same man who will trade any player for a bag of peanuts. Who
went and signed Russell Wilson, is now carrying the largest dead cap in NFL history.
Who, after Peyton Manning retired, significantly left and took a organization that was left in a good place.
Yeah, great talent.
And squandered it. For the past, 8 years since that 2015 championship, the Broncos have been a laughingstock.
Yes.
They have not been good.
They've been rough.
But the part that's the most insulting is the absolute shade that Lamar Jackson continuously gets, even this far into the world, is insane to me.
Feeds on the haters.
It's crazy that, a GM will be like, yeah, we should have drafted Josh Allen. He was there, and we didn't. Lamar was there. Lamar's a 2-time MVP. You're telling me Lamar in Denver at that time wouldn't have been productive?
That's with Cortland Sutton coming on. That would have been great.
It would have been great.
But
Jerry Jeudy,
he
finally would have had the great weapons that Baltimore's always now hopefully has put around him.
Yeah.
But
I think the difference is I'm not looking at it from that perspective. I do agree that Lamar does get overlooked at times with that stuff. But it's Elway. Elway only likes one type of quarterback when he's drafting.
He likes himself.
He likes himself. Tall, white dude, and that's all he cares. Big arm. That's all he wants out of his QB. And
he almost paid Brock Osweiler.
I think he's re-signed him.
No,
he didn't get a second contract.
He went to the Texans and signed $90 million.
Okay, I thought he got a second contract in Denver for some reason. So that makes sense that he's like, man, Josh Allen. I see a lot of myself in that kid.
I hate it.
I could have lived vicariously through him. I should have had him as an adopted son.
Memphis, I believe in. I hate.
No, it's just he's not a good GM.
Yeah, bust of the week, John Elway. He's still part of the organization. He's just no longer the GM.
No, but when he was GM,
GM. It was bad. Never too late news. Let's get into some of the sports topics and news that we haven't gotten to.
Sure.
Never too late to talk about. Number one, Jason Tatum not being that guy.
I don't think it's that.
Seems like it's that. Feels like it's that.
Okay, so Steve Kerr was quoted after Sunday saying that it's really hard to play a 40-minute game with more than 10 guys. Yeah. Agreeable. You have two lineups that you're switching out constantly, 5 and 5. You have 12 guys on the roster. It's also Tyrese Halliburton didn't see the floor of that game. Everyone's overlooking that. Tyrese Halliburton didn't see the floor. He was on the bench with Tatum the entire game.
Tyrese Halliburton is not at the same level of caliber, and this is coming from me.
Yeah,
that one of the biggest Tyrese Halliburton fans in the world. Tyrese Halliburton is not at the same caliber that Jason Tatum's currently at, which is praised to be one of the elite, and what you've said, top 10 players in the NBA right now.
Yes,
he's not even as good as LeBron.
But where I put him in, Kerr did an interview with Brian Windhurst from ESPN afterwards, and it's not one that got too much media attention in my mind, saying, our guys know the key to this whole thing is put the NBA stuff in the rearview mirror and just win 6 games. Like, to me, him talking that, and then he talked a lot about matchups and scheme fits. To me, it's him saying, not disparaging Tatum in any way, but looking at it as, where do you fit Tatum in one of these lineups? Because you have Drew Holiday and you have Derek White as the defensive glue guys on each line, each of the starting 5. You have to have those guys there. You have Durant, LeBron.
Shout out to America and Kevin Durant. Guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's doing great. You have Davis and Bam.
Also, Davis playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis. If you didn't watch NBA basketball and you just watched Olympic basketball, you'd be like, is Anthony Davis sneaky one of the best players in the entire world? Yes, he is, when he wants to be.
Yeah, when he wants to be.
Yeah.
But you need to have Bam and you need to have Davis in there just for their play style and size. That's the only way to compete. You need them in the 5 and 4, or both 5s depending on the lineup switches. The only real guys that Tatum fits in to replace on this roster at all is Ant and Booker. Those are the only 2 guys.
He should be taking Booker and Ant minutes.
To me, though, where it fits in scheme-wise, when Tatum's on the floor...
You're going to disrespect me. I can feel it.
To me, when Tatum's on the floor, he demands the ball. He's a great scorer. He demands the ball.
He's a bad basketball player.
Booker and Ant are supportive role guys. Correct. And they're okay taking that step back and distributing.
Yeah.
Tatum is not as good as that. On
Yeah.
top of that, Tatum is a good defender.
He's okay.
But on the ball, aggressive defense,
Yeah.
Booker and Ant are better.
Definitely.
Yes, they are energy guys. They will go and pursue beyond the 3 line. They play the FIBA style,
Definitely.
get in somebody's face.
Definitely ball. Ant does. Booker plays fine. He's fine.
Booker plays fine, but so I don't know where Tatum fits in the. That's my big thing.
Well, then
is Tatum's
don't
great
put him on the team.
But if you have so much redundant talent, because you need a field 12,
yeah,
and all of these guys, like majority of this roster is interchangeable for each other for the most part, in terms of overall talent, in terms of skill set.
But this goal
what they
means
can do
so much.
It does, and I think they're going to put Tatum in for the next game when they play South Sudan
for sure,
because any roster could fit there. When they play a lot of these lower, like the easier teams, I think Tatum's going to see the floor a bunch. But when they're playing like the Serbias, when they're going to play Canada, when they play, like if they, I don't think they'll have a matchup against France unless it's finals. I believe.
Yeah, there's a couple things.
Yeah, there's a couple things have to fall. But when you're playing like the more elite teams, I don't know how Tatum matchup wise, scheme fit wise, so what Kerr wants to coach fits in.
Don't you think that that's not good? Like not a good look for him, or like what it says about his basketball ability?
I don't think so, because in the NBA, the play style is completely different.
Correct. FIBA basketball is
a very different beast.
It's how basketball's supposed to be played, the good old American way, the way we want it.
The rest of the world plays.
Yeah, and it sucks. It doesn't suck, but it's not great.
They actually they're a little bit more stringent on the rules.
I want ISOs. I want no one to call traveling. I want moving screens. I want 3-step back 3-pointers. And I want guys in the clutch with the ball in their hands. Guys, I buy their jerseys. Guys that I'm watching to be playing on the court. And Jason Tatum's not.
To me, but Tatum is every time in the NBA. And that's the big difference. A lot of people are overlooking is this isn't about Tatum, the basketball player.
You're right. It's about our country. I forget that.
It's about how we play basketball here versus the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And we have to scheme fit to what the rules are.
Yeah, no, and luckily for us, we're just dominant and the best players in the world. Shout out to America once again. Yeah, you're right. I think we could probably win this team if Jason Tatum was like our best player.
Yeah, and he will be.
Win this whole,
when Durant and LeBron age out, which by the next Olympics they probably are.
This is probably their last Olympics.
This is their last run.
Curry's.
Tatum's gonna be the number 1 guy. Tatum is going to take.
I think Ant will probably take a step forward.
Ant's going to take a step forward, but
he's Cooper Flag is up next.
But I think Ant takes over one of those. He takes over the Durant or LeBron role.
We probably get Joel Embiid back. Probably get Anthony Davis back for one more year. Definitely Bam. We'll definitely get Bam.
Yeah,
again.
you'll have Bam, but Tatum's going to take over that kind of alpha starting. And so that's
we'll
why I'm like, he'll be fine. Just give it till the next one. I think this is more experience. The big thing is just keep him happy. Make him want to come back for the next Olympic run.
He'll want to come.
I don't know.
It's in America.
If he doesn't like it, if he's upset about the international,
No.
that's more my worry.
Leave. Go play for Canada. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh my gosh.
What is Canada gonna do? Win? That's not gonna happen.
They're feisty.
Are they? Tua Tagovailoa got paid.
And Jordan Love.
Both your quarterbacks. Both
guys
your
that
guys.
called it.
Your guys.
Yeah.
Big victory lap for Don.
I'm happy. I was
Highest
worried.
paid quarterbacks in the league.
I was worried about Love's contract the minute it came out because I was like, I wouldn't have signed him that way. But I'm more risk adverse. But you have to.
Yeah.
Both in the modern NFL, I feel that it's better to have a franchise guy that is good to elite than that tier, like that kind of tier 2, tier 3.
Yeah.
It's better to have that than having to search for your quarterback. Be the Raiders right now, be the Commanders, where you're like, we just got to keep recycling guys until we find somebody.
Jordan Love's in a weird position because like Jordan Love could be the best player on his roster. Like not only can he be the best player on his roster, but like could be a sneaky top 7 quarterback at the end of this year.
Yeah.
We just don't know because it's only been 1 year. In this 1 year, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I was impressed. I didn't expect it to be this. I always liked Jordan Love. I wanted the Colts to trade for him and 2 years ago when Aaron Rodgers stayed on the team.
Yeah.
But I think Jordan Love can be great. I don't know if he was $55 million worth, but you have to pay him because that's the market.
That's the market right now, and they have the room. That's the nice part about both these teams. The Dolphins,
and there's not a lot of contracts coming up for them right now.
there really isn't. Packers right now, extremely deep in young talent, the wide receiver room. They're not paying almost any offensive weapon for the most part right now, other than Josh Jacobs and Love now. On the flip side, you have the Dolphins. Their secondary